From the highs and the lows and all the in-betweens, that is Rochdale Football Club. Welcome to From the Stands Rochdale AFC, your weekly roundup of all things Rochdale. In today's episode, we will discuss the 2-0 victory away at Brunton Park against Carlisle on Saturday, as well as the first home defeat of the season in a 2-1 defeat against Halifax, as well as looking forward to the game this weekend against Forest Green Rovers, who are currently top of the league. We sit down with Dylan and discuss what Robbie Savage really is cooking up at the new Lawn Stadium. Let's get straight into the video. First up was the Saturday victory against Carlisle United away from home at Brunton Park. A very tough game to begin with, especially. I thought, there was a lot of nerves in that away end, which was chaos. And we thought it was a big test of where we were going to be this season. Now, no disrespect to any team that we have played so far, but none of them so far have been a team that are going to be up and around the playoff area. Maybe your Altrincham, but other than that, they were mostly mid-table sides, which we did fairly comfortable against last season anyway. So this was our first big test. This was our first big test of how we're going to set up this season, and we came through it with absolute flying colours. We were by far the better team in this game. We controlled the ball. Although we had a 50-50% possession, I do feel like we controlled the game a lot more. We seemed a lot more comfortable and confident on the ball than Carlisle did. They looked like they needed a reaction after the 5-0 defeat against York last midweek. And it just didn't seem to fit well for them. They changed the formation completely. I feel like Mark Hughes, pardon my French, but he really did shit himself going into this game, changing a complete system of a 4-2-3-1 to a 3-4-1-2. Linney and Armstrong were in the middle exactly how I said they would be. It was very much give the ball to Linney and see what he can do with it. And unfortunately, as he was up against Gordon and Rowling on that right side, he always beat Rowling. He beat Rowling almost every time, but with Gordon there, he had no chance. I do feel like Carlisle really struggled in this game, although they have bounced back since beating Hartlepool midweek. Yeah, I thought it was absolutely brilliant game from us. Like I feel like I'm playing it down too much, but we were absolutely in control of this game. Manny D didn't really have much to do. It sounds crazy, but he did very little in the game and then goes and bags two. He's the type of player that does stuff like that. A big shout out to Kevin Burko in left back or left wing back, left mid, whatever you want to call it, as he was absolutely brilliant in this game. He was so resolute defensively and going forward, which is something that I cannot confidently say about Alarakia. I thought McBride was very unlucky in this game not to have got 4 goals. He came close on many occasions, but he hit the post and tested the keeper more often than not, which is a positive in the sense of at least he's getting the chances. I think the main takeaway from this game is the fact that it's almost impossible to park in Carlisle, but it is quite a nice place. From the highs of Saturday to the lows of Wednesday, a 2-1 defeat against Halifax at home, our first home defeat of the season. And yeah, a lot of people are pointing the fingers in this game. Some at Jim McNulty for the change in the lineup, but I feel like we need to make these changes every now and then. And the other one has obviously been pointed at, Liam Hogan. I think Liam Hogan's a brilliant player. I really do rate him. And last season I thought he was fantastic, stepping in for Ebanks. His height is the biggest issue. Like, if I think back the game against Spennymoor, that game cost us because of his lack of height, and it appears this game did as well, as he really did struggle with Harris. I do feel McNulty possibly could have looked into this game in terms of the height that Harris has over him. That first goal, Ebanks heads that away. I have no problem with Liam Hogan. I don't feel like we can solely pin that on him. I know he's been present for the 2 defeats we've had this season, but I feel like he's just... I don't know, I feel like he's been given a bit... He's been used as a bit of a scapegoat, really. Against Brackley, we had a whole load of changes, and, you know, that's not going to help anyone, especially the defensive side of things. In terms of performances, I feel Barlow was really poor. Manny D, dare I say it, was really poor. I think Halifax defended brilliantly, and Hobson and Mills really did their job on Manny D. I think the only thing that really wound me up is the play acting, the diving in and around Manny D to try and get him booked. Like, come on, what are you playing at? You know, you're a good enough team. You don't need to be doing stuff like that. The game completely changed once Rodney came on. He was by far the best player when he did come on, and you could see the momentum just switch. It's strange with Rodney because he has a very lazy body language, but when you can tell when we're losing, you know he's the player that he'll just grab the ball and be like, yeah, I'll just stick it in the net now. And that's exactly what he did. I think it was just one of those games where nothing was going our way. Miscontrols. We were falling into these chances and just not doing much with it. Example, Manny D, when he took the ball around the keeper and it came up and it hit his arm, and then he tapped it in. You know, every football team has days like this, and I do feel, unfortunately, it was just one of those days. That shouldn't hinder us in terms of lead standing, as Forest Green did drop points against Boston. Carlisle did beat Hartlepool, but we're still 2 games in hand, and we are only 2 points behind. It's not that bad. I did do a bit of research, and we have had a better start to the season this season than Barnet did last season. So we are well on our way. Like, we've had an unbelievable start to the season. I know we can complain and everything, but you just got to look at it. We played 11 games, we won 9. Like, we're Rochdale. How often can we talk about stuff like that? Like, you know, we've gone from losing nearly every week, you know, getting relegated and staying up and then relegated again and struggling with no players. You know, we're really good this year, and we just need to back the players. I do feel, yeah, there's a lot of pressure to get back in the EFL. A lot of that is on the owners saying they want to do it within the next 2 years, I think it is now. But we just got to enjoy the ride and just back them, because there's nothing else we can do other than that. I do want to make a shout out to the fans that did travel up to Carlisle. I thought the backing that we did give the lads was unbelievable, and to take just under 800 up there, probably more than what some teams would do on their local derbies elsewhere. So hopefully, I hope this match hasn't hindered people's confidence in the team. Now let's look forward to Forest Green Rovers this weekend. So the manager of Forest Green these days is the one and only Robbie Savage. He's had 68 games in charge now, 76.46% win percentage, which is unbelievable, really. But again, he's only had 68 games. The former Macclesfield manager and current stakeholder in the club. In terms of key players, there's only one man that I've really pointed out, and it's Lauren Mendy. 28 years old. His recoveries per game is obscene. 18.6. He did play for Macclesfield last season, along with a couple of other players that have also been brought to the club with Savage. And yeah, I feel like he's going to be a real threat defensively. In terms of how Forest Green line up, they do tend to line up with a 4-2-3-1. They have drawn 3 of their last 5 games, beating Altrincham and Woking. But, you know, you can't discredit a draw with York, Scunthorpe, and a strange one against Boston. In terms of head-to-head, we have lost all 3 games that we have played against these. And that's not looking particularly great, but in 3 games, you know, anything can change after that. I now sit down with Dylan Banks, a Forest Green fan. Make sure you check his TikToks out at DylanBank97. He's a very good content creator, and I really, really did enjoy sitting down having a chat with Dylan. Before the cameras were rolling, I think we sat and had a chat for about half an hour about the team this season. So, yeah, hopefully you enjoy this interview just as much as I did. Right, I am sat here with Dylan, the Forest Green fan. Thank you very much for joining me.
No, thank you very much.
Now, Forest Green have had an absolutely fantastic start to the season. How's it feeling at the club at the moment? Like, you're on your longest unbeaten run, manager who matches the passion of the fans. Is it as good on the inside as it is from the outside?
From a neutral's perspective, how you're seeing it is definitely how we see it. It's fantastic, and it's something that it's very rare in football. You see quite a connection between a manager and the fans, and obviously having a big name like Robbie Savage with quite a very ego-heavy personality. Of course, he's going to be wanting all the cameras on himself, which is good because he brings a lot of publicity to Forest Green and being a small club. But say overall, we like it. We want it to stay because obviously we've had miserable years of back-to-back relegation and how we lost to Southend on penalties in the playoffs last season. Say it's a lot different. It's something that I'm still trying to get used to. The feeling of winning, I'm starting to lose the thought of losing.
Well, at least you got to those penalties against Southend. We struggled in extra time with that one. In terms of Robbie Savage, what cast your mind back to the start of the season? Like, what was your initial thoughts on the appointment? Because it was a very strange one, given that he's only been in management for, I think, he's 68 games he's managed now.
Yeah, he recently just hit his 50th, and it was quite a weird stat because out of the 50 games he's managed, he's only lost 3. But it takes my mind back because I'm there thinking, right, okay, we are signing a manager that's only managed about 75% of a season in a league where Macclesfield has 4 times the budget than any other club in that league. I feel like anybody could go into that role at Macclesfield, like say me or you could go in there and get 100 points.
I'd like to
So
think so.
I was very against the signing of Savage. I was unsure, and I predicted us to finish just outside the playoffs. I didn't think it would even last till December, but obviously he's proved me very wrong with the start we've had, and it's fun because this little old village team is getting all this publicity and a lot of hate coming our way, which is it's very funny and it's quite entertaining.
I mean, it feels like Forest Green do get quite a bit of publicity because of the way the clubs run anyway. Obviously, very eco-friendly. So, I don't feel like it's any, what's the phrase? Water off the duck's back sort of thing.
Definitely. It's always our owner loves publicity. He loves it.
Yeah. So, Steve Cotterill has just been appointed as Cheltenham manager, and he was obviously previously your manager. He failed to keep you up, and he did take over last season. Obviously, he finished third, which was quite a good season. What are the main differences between Cotterill and Savage in terms of philosophy on and off the pitch?
It's very old school compared to the modern. So, for example, if you put Pep Guardiola Man City side against a Tony Pulis Stoke City side, very two odd set out tactics. Cotterill was very that old school, so very possession based football, playing from out the back, whereas Robbie Savage is that on the foot counter attack intensity football. So there's been quite a hefty change in the style of football. Obviously, when Savage came in, he completely turned the squad around at Forest Green, so it's not even Steve Cotterill's side anymore, which is good because it's funny because we're saying we finished third, but it felt like the longest season ever because we saw 3 months of good football. After that period, after November, it was moans and groans, and we were dropping points. We were slowly fading away from that title race where we once was with Barnet and York. And it just got to a point where we all just had enough because it was just, yes, you got your points, but from a supporter's mentality, when you're travelling up and down the country, it's not good to watch. So us fans definitely have a right to moan and groan. So yeah, it's completely changed. At Forest Green, the Cottrell legacy has ended, and the Savage ones come in and just put this massive light back on the club. It's been a quite big change for sure.
So, given the changes that obviously have been on the pitch as well, Robbie Savage has brought in. I'm not sure the number of players that he has brought in from Macclesfield. It may be 3 or 4, I think, maybe.
Yeah,
Laurent Mendy is one that really has stuck out to me. Like, a fun fact that I have put in this video is his ball recoveries is at 18.6 per game, which is obscene. Those are like N'Golo Kante numbers. Which player do you feel like makes Forest Green tick? Who's vile?
well, straight away, the first one you said is Mendy. Definitely. Obviously, the other two Macclesfield lads that came, Kenji, he had quite a rough start. I didn't think he was, us fans were kind of like, should he be playing at this level? But he's kind of proved us wrong. Say, with the amount of changes we made at the team, I can't even put a bad name on there. Every single one of them's had terrific moments at the club already, and how quick that team's gelled. We haven't seen a bad performance from one of them yet. So it's hard to choose one player.
Wow.
It's fun, but Jen can't like. I'll say a bad one, Harvey Bunkner, because he's not played. I came on last night, but yeah.
I normally write these questions down, but I feel like I need to add another one into this. So, do you think Robbie Savage is key to the recruitment? Then it feels like they've got a lot of trust in him in bringing players in himself.
It goes back to the appointment of Mark Bowen, our director of football now. Obviously, he's got quite a dodgy history of gambling and being that Young Reading chairman's best mate. So he hasn't had a good past record. But I feel like he's actually really good friends with Robbie. And plus, the money we've got in this club has allowed freedom for both of them to work. I feel like the connection Robbie Savage would have had, obviously, one with Macclesfield, but also with his son being a professional football player playing for Reading, and of course his football links. So he'd know everybody. So I feel like that's a massive factor in his recruitment stages of who to choose. He's recruited really well. But he's also picked out players that have played in the National League and that has performed lots. Obviously, the season's gone. Like the likes of Nick Horton from Fylde. So I feel it's the freedom he's allowed and the experience he's had in football has allowed him to be in a position where his project he's probably always had in his head is now. It's here right now. So, yeah.
Obviously, Robbie Savage has only managed 68 games as time of recording, but he's had an illustrious career in football, especially in this country and on the international stage as well. He played quite a lot of games for Wales, so he does know what he's talking about. And I know managerial football is very different, but I feel like obviously he's had a bit of experience on the opposite side of that. So I feel like, we can't treat him as if he's some sort of newbie into the game. So Obviously, for any Dale fans going down this weekend, including myself, what can we really expect from the game this weekend? Like, how were Forest Green at home this year?
I feel the past previous weeks, Forest Green have kind of been on the back foot in a lot of games. But knowing Robbie Savage and the high stake of this game, because obviously with Rochdale breathing behind us with 2 games in hand, I feel like this one's the big one for Rochdale to pick up 3 points, because that means you're leapfroggers then, doesn't it? I feel like knowing this, Robbie Savage will want everything from the players. So what to expect is quite high intense attacking football, very on the front foot. I mean, if you look at every stat of every game we've played, I think we've had over 10 shots a game. So you would be expecting quite a busy day for your defenders.
Yeah.
I mean, in the midfield as well is very strong. You know, that's what the engine of that squad. You know, that creates all these chances for the strikers and the wingers. So, yeah, you would expect very high intense football, but I'm pretty sure Rochdale would have been looking at Forest Green for the past few weeks, and this was the big week where they would have been focusing more on this. I feel like there will be a plan out tomorrow. I do genuinely think that Rochdale will plan this game out very well, where it will be a low-scoring game compared to obviously Forest Green's high-scoring games we've had.
Can I push you for a score prediction for this game then?
I'm sticking 1-1.
I'll tell you what, I will take a 1-1 this stage of the season, definitely.
Even as Forest Green fan,
Yeah.
I would take a draw.
I'll tell you what, we are in for a really, really good season, I feel, looking at the league table lately. Especially with teams like Boreham Wood and Scunthorpe that have come up and they've shot straight up into these playoffs. Like, we are in for a really good season. And I really hope that teams like Forest Green, like Carlisle, like us, like Southend, York, is there any places around the ground that the fans can go to for a bevy or an actual meat pie, maybe?
I mean, if any Rochdale fans like Emmerdale, it's kind of similar. Yeah, I mean, we've got a fan zone like pretty much outside the away end where they sell lagers and they have live music on. It's just in a big tent. Home fans and away fans mix in there. But if Rochdale fans don't want to be at the ground that early, if you head down the hill into Nailsworth village itself, there's a few pubs scattered around in Nailsworth. I think you got 2 or 3 to pick from. But all I'm going to say to any Rochdale fans watching this, including yourself, who's going to be going, do not, if you go into Nailsworth, do not walk back up to the ground, because the hill is like that for a very long time. So there's a bus, get it.
Okay, thank you very much for having this nice little chat with me. Make sure you all go check out Dylan Banks 97 on TikTok. He does a lot of content over there, and yeah, from what I've seen, he's a very good content creator. So let's support the non-league fans there.
Why not? Let's do it.
Yeah. So this is how the league table is looking at the moment. There is a massive change, especially in the playoffs. Halifax and Tamworth have both replaced York and Southend. Hartlepool have dropped a bit, and Solihull Moors have climbed up out of those relegation zones. Morecambe are now bottom of the league after an absolute trouncing against Gateshead midweek. They was 4-0 down inside 12 minutes. Truro managed to climb off the foot of the table, although they are still on joint points with Morecambe as well as Sutton. Altrincham are really struggling this season. 9 losses in the 13 games they've played, only 4 wins. Boreham Wood and Scunthorpe are still fighting up in those spots with a massive game this weekend. Scunthorpe against Carlisle, 4th v 3rd. A win for Scunthorpe could take them as high as 2nd, which is insane to say that. They've just been promoted. They, as well as Forest Green, are the only team still to register a loss this season. Rochdale do have the highest goal difference with a +16, Forest Green on +14. But as Dylan said, it'll probably be a very low-scoring game, as 2 teams will probably be a bit wary of the opposition going into the game this weekend. Apparently, we are interested in Tyler Smith, the former Bradford and Rochdale player. He did spend a little time here on loan a couple of years ago. He's brother of Kyron Gordon. It looks like Manchee may be going back a bit early, maybe. But from what I've seen of him so far, Manchee doesn't really look sharp to start or come off the bench for us at the moment. So maybe a little bit of a bolster in the attacking area, as well as a bit of a difference. You know, he's a bit quicker, a bit smaller, less of the target man, and yeah, that's the only transfer roundup we've got. In terms of managerial appointments and sackings, Sutton have sacked Steve Morrison and hired Chris Agutta from Worthing. He's done a fantastic job at Worthing. They were very unlucky not to go up last year. I do feel like he could have probably got a bigger move than Sutton. Apparently, it took a bit longer to finalise due to the profound determination to retain him from Worthing, so he is very much adored. His Worthing side did miss out on the National League South by a solitary point. In terms of managerial appointments, Solihull were on the lookout for a new manager, but have now appointed Chris Millington, the former Halifax manager. A very, very good manager for this division, and I do feel Solihull will definitely stay up this season and maybe even push on. It was a bit of a strange one why Halifax got rid of him in the first place, but he is a very, very good manager, and I feel like that is a very good appointment for them. And there we go. That is the end of another video. Thank you very much for your support as always. If you did like this video, please like and subscribe and share with your Rochdale fans. Hopefully, I want to get a couple of Rochdale fans on this channel in the near future to discuss the early season promotion push. And yeah, thank you very much again, and I will see you next week. Up the Dale.